Losing too long. We've been losing too long.
Yo, yo! What it do? What the business is? Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Microphone check 1 2. We are here. We are live, everybody. Welcome to a very, 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 very special edition of the MDX podcast. Oh, excuse me. I meant MDX Radio. I am your co-host, Mr. Maurice Proffit.
And I'm Dannie Dang.
Yes, indeed, y'all. Yes, indeed. We are here in the beautiful studio in Broadview, Illinois of intellectualradio.com, and welcome everyone to the very first episode of MDX Radio. All of our listeners, all of our audience, you guys kind of like know the deal like with how Danny and I operate and everything. But this right here is an amazing opportunity that we had that we could not pass up. You know, to be able to take our platform of the podcast that you guys know and love, and to put it on a much bigger, much larger, much more universal platform, and that's with the family of intellectualradio.com, part of the iHeartRadio family. So to be a part of this really is a very special situation that we got going on here. And before we move anything forward, I must just give a much love, much big shout out to the people who are actually making this possible, and that's Miss Wanda B and Earl Winfrey. So I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for showing us so much love for MDX and bringing y'all part of the family and everything. And yeah, we kicking things off tonight, man. What's up?
Not too much, man. We haven't done this in a long time. Kicking it off with a live episode too. It's crazy.
Ain't it wild, man? I mean, it's crazy because we went through that whole hiatus over the summer, and then we made our comeback last month. That episode went completely left. Went completely left, even though we recorded it was great and everything, but it completely went left. We got this opportunity, and now it's like, all right, we're going to we're kind of revamp ourselves, in this direction and everything. So it's real cool that we are here. As I said before, we have, we're part of Danny and I. First off, my name is Maurice Proffit, this is Dannie Dang. And we've been doing just kind of give you an idea as far as the people who are watching or listening who don't know us. We've been doing this show, the MDX podcast, for the last
3 years. Yep.
Yeah. So 3 years we've been doing a podcast. You can find the podcast. It's in iTunes and Podomatic. So you can check us out on there in the archive episodes, or even begin to follow us. You can hear our latest episodes that we do on the side from this show. And we've been doing this for a while, and MDX pretty much what it is giving an idea of what to expect with this show. It's two buds. We come together and we just chop up about what's ever happening. We chop up what's going on in sports, what's happening in hip hop, what's happening in pro wrestling, what's happening in movies, TV, pop culture, politics, news, anything, even our personal lives as well too. So we really, just kind of just go through the gamut of what's happening right now and what's hot at this moment and everything. So you're gonna get a very nice cornucopia, so to speak, of issues and ideas, and get some insight as well too, of our take. And usually our take on what's going on is very you might get from somebody else. So you might get some really interesting perspective that's going on from that'll come from our mouths. And that's what kind of sets us apart from everyone else. Everyone else kind of likes to play it safe with the way how they walk the line, where Danny and I we kind of push things to the edge. And what's good about this is that normally our podcast is very unfiltered. But this platform, since we're at intellectualradio.com, is gonna be very filtered. So young people to play this episode in front of your parents, all right? Because there will be no cursing, there will be no profanity, there will be no ignorance. It'll be only just the good stuff, the good quality stuff that you play in front of your mama, all right? So you definitely want to tune in and keep these on lock, all right? So, hey, bro, I want the listeners to actually know who we are a little bit. So before we we push forward with the usual, tell everybody about who you are. Who is Dannie Dang? Who this? Who you? Who that is?
Hi, man. I feel like I'm like speed dating or something with someone.
Right. remember ASL when you used to go on the chat rooms? ASL.
Yeah.
it's like that right now.
I'm a pretty simple person. Dannie Dang, born and raised in Virginia. Currently, I'm living in Seattle, Washington. Got my family out here. Just doing my thing. I'm into professional wrestling, sports. I'm again, man. I'm simple. There's nothing special about me. I'm not very opinionated on a lot of things, as Maurice knows. Maurice is the person in our group that has things to say about stuff. I just kind of sit back in the cut, and then I might make a remark here and there. But he's the guy to listen to for anything that is actually meaningful. And if you want like the comedy stuff, then listen to what I have to say.
Don't be modest, bro. You know you be putting out some stuff out there for real, dude. I you know what? That's one thing is that I know how to be able to pull out the opinion out of you. Even though you might be in the cut, it's like, nah, bro. You ain't getting off that easy. I'm going to pull it out of you, brother. So, don't be that modest over there, bro. especially because we live here, so you know I'm gonna do it to you even tenfold right on the platform.
But I mean that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I'm a simple person. There's nothing special about me. I'm just your typical. I work a 9-to-5 office. I collect sneakers. I collect wrestling action figures. Typical, nerd type of guy. I like to watch movies, go to concerts, listen to music. I'm open book. You ask me anything you want, you'll get an answer from me.
But you a promoter though too.
Oh, a promoter.
Mm-hmm.
Cheap plug out here in Seattle.
Put it out there, brother, for real.
We've got a wrestling company out here. They're called Defy. Probably one of the greatest promotions out there right now in the independent wrestling scene.
Word.
You can check them out, defywrestling.com. They're doing big things right now. They've been around for almost a year. They are blowing up. We've got Shane Strickland, a.k.a. Swerve, as our Defy champion at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
He defends his title all over the place. He's also the Wrestle Circus Ringmaster champion.
Okay.
He's also the CZW champion right now. So he holds 3 titles across the board. He's defending them all over the place. Defy just announced a brand new series of shows called Defy Now, where they're going to do it on a smaller scale. Ticket prices start at $25. The next show, October 26th, here in Seattle, featuring Sammy Guevara, really great up-and-coming high flyer. The next big show, though, is November 10th. It's going to be Defy number 9. It's called Defy Graps, kind of like the play on Yo MTV Raps.
Okay, I'm with it.
And
a little hip hop flavor inside. I'm with it.
Little hip hop flavor in there. Again, you can check out tickets, defywrestling.com.
Mm-hmm.
Go check them out. There's an on-demand service where you can rent the events. You can subscribe as well to the monthly service. Really, really good stuff. If you want a taste of it, you can just go on YouTube Defy Wrestling. There's some good free matches up there as well. So
wait, what's the subscription all about? It's kind of like the network or something like that.
Kind of like WWE Network. Essentially, it's just a streaming service where Defy is on there. They've also teamed up with a few other promotions and like high spots where you're just gonna have just a bunch of indie wrestling companies that have their shows up there that you can stream. It's very affordable. I think the service is $3.99 or $4.99 a month.
Oh, that's love, man.
So
that's lunch.
It's not gonna break the bank at all.
Right. That's ordering from the dollar menu from McDonald's, man, and having some left over. For real, that's love right there, man. That's easy money right there. That's good. So yeah, y'all go check it out, especially the people in Seattle who are listening right now. If you're a wrestling fan on the West Coast, check them out. That's a growing company that really started from being a seed to where they are. Where they are blooming into something much greater and everything. So we want to be a part of that movement. That's good stuff right there, man. For real. We'll keep y'all updated as we go on, like, about the fight and what's happening in there. Danny will give that report every time we broadcast. And speaking of broadcast, the way how we're going to be doing MDX radio, we're kind of in a trial period right now. So we're going to be doing twice a month as of right now. So we're going to be doing every second and fourth Wednesday night. That's when we'll be doing it. We want to do like a little trial run, see how things go, see how it feels and everything. This is kind of like, we want to see make sure like, intellectual radio actually likes us. This is kind of like, this, what it's like, bro? It's like, when you meet a girl and, you want to hang out with her a little bit and kind of get to know her first before you bring her around your boys. So that's kind of like, how this is right now. So technically you can say, I guess, we're the potential girlfriend. And Intellectual Radio is the boyfriend, so we want to make sure they like us. Oh, I think they like us. So we're gonna be starting off kind of slow a little bit, but every other week though we'll be here and we'll get things popping and such. Yep, speaking of popping, this past Sunday was the latest WWE pay-per-view titled Hell in a Cell, and it was taking place in Detroit. Decent pay-per-view. I thought it was like 50-50, in terms of likability, in terms of like rewatchability, I like to say. Because I always like to kind of like grade like my pay-per-views on, would I watch this again? Would I go back to this again? I like to go back to pay-per-views that I like and go back to it again. And about half of it was about that. The other half I could have done without. Did you watch the whole thing?
I sure did.
Word. Hey, now, so I missed the entire pre-show. How was
so
that?
Did I.
Yo, you did too?
Dude, I didn't watch that.
Oh well, that's out the window. I was gonna ask you how that Benjamin and Gable and Hype Brothers match was.
That's all you need to know, that it was a Hype Bros match. Like that. Nobody wants to watch that garbage.
True, very true. Yeah, so that was off to the side. But the pay-per-view started off really hot. It was a great match. It was the first Hell in a Cell match of the night. The Usos, they were the challengers going into the match, challenging the New Day for the WWE SmackDown Championship titles. You want to talk about a rewatch? This was it right here.
That match was great.
Oh my God.
That match was great. They pulled out some like old school stuff, right? Like
right.
they were using like the chairs, the kendo sticks.
Yeah.
They were like, and the one time when they had had like in the corner where they like locked him in with the kendo stick.
No, that was
no, that was Big E. That was Big E. They had Big E in there.
No, I thought that was you talking about, and they started smacking him with the sticks, right?
No, but they had him like locked in the corner, and they had like the kendo sticks like between the cell.
I thought that was did they do that to the Uso?
Was it the Uso they did?
Yeah,
maybe that was
Uso. Right.
But the match itself was unreal. That was a great way to open the pay-per-view, just because like it got everyone hyped, it got everyone ready to go.
Right.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and probably say that was the match of the night.
Yeah. And they were smart too. They started that show off with a really hot match. It got the entire crowd into it, and it really was like at the time when you're watching, you're like, okay, this is the tone of what the rest of the night is going to look like, feel like, and what we're going to receive from it and everything. Because you're absolutely right. We saw spots in that match where before, especially with what we're talking about right now, where they basically to the sticks locked the Uso up in the corner of the cage, and they just went to work. And even like when they had Xavier Woods handcuffed, and they were going to work on him as well too. I mean, you saw some spots that like you've never really seen before. It just goes to show that if you really do, push yourself in terms of creativity, you could do a whole lot with that cage. That not just keep it as a standard, and throw your opponent into the cage. No, you can actually use the cage as the weapon, as it is intended to do so. So, I mean, they did a phenomenal job with that. Did you check out the after show, the post show?
I watched a little bit of it. I just saw Baron Corbin's interview.
Word.
And I saw AJ Styles. Or maybe I did watch the whole thing.
You're right. You're like watching AJ Styles, Baron Corbin, and the Usos. That's all I saw. I saw everybody.
I saw the Usos come out.
Yeah.
No, you know why though? You know why I don't remember it? Because that pay-per-view went like half an hour over.
It did. Yeah. It did. But it
ended at 8:30 for me, and I was like, "This is crazy! Like it's way too late. I need to go to sleep."
Well, that's the thing is that like now since they're on the network, they can do that. Whereas before, when they were on straight pay-per-view, they would end 15 minutes before the top of the hour. So in your case, it would end at 7:45, where it ended for me at 9:45. Right. But now since they're on the network, they can go over. That's why WrestleMania now is like 5-6 hours long. Not including the pre-show. When you include the pre-show, you're talking about 8 hours, an 8-hour show. So
yeah, it's unreal. It's the worst thing ever.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like, okay, this is way too much you got going on.
Right.
But what was cool was in the post-show when they were interviewing the Usos. I think it was Peter Rosenberg asked them about now how does it feel like being able to be like recognized as the now you are, because they're like 5-time champions, right? And I think it was the one who's not married to Naomi.
Okay.
At first, he didn't have any words. He was just kind of like looking at him, and he was like, "Y'all been sleeping on us this whole time. That we know what to do. We know how to bring it, and we know how to bring some heat to these matches. But y'all been sleeping on us." And I gotta agree with them. Before they turned heel, man, like. You and I, we talked about this at one point when there was like this route that they were not really getting any type of tick in the ring, and we're like, these guys can actually work. These guys are actually entertaining. Right. There's a lot of potential for them. Like, when are they gonna actually put them in the ring? Because remember, there was like a 6-month drought, or maybe even more than that, where these guys were never on pay-per-views. They're always on the pre-show, and so and I think that even with SummerSlam. I think when they went into that match in SummerSlam with the New Day, they went into that match with a chip on the shoulder, like, you know what, we should not be in the pre-show. We're going to have the best match of the night, which they did at SummerSlam. They had the pre-show was the best match of the night, the pay-per-view. So like they've been rest, and you've been seeing that type of quote unquote attitude, no pun intended, coming from them, that they're not messing around, and really need to take them seriously. Now I'm per Tuesday, what we saw on SmackDown, it looked like they're gonna be faces, and I'm like, I'm not with that. I'm not with that.
Are they? I didn't watch. I didn't.
Bro,
I didn't watch SmackDown.
They basically they came out. And they called the New Day out. New Day came out as well too, and basically it was just like, we respect you guys. You gave us a great match, and basically our beef is dead, and then so like when that happened, then the Hype Bros came out, the Ascension came out, some other teams came out, and the Usos were just Usos and New Day together were like roasting them, pretty much. But it felt very, kumbaya. We're happy again. We're good guys again. It felt very much like that, and I was like, man, really? Y'all had a really good thing going on, like with them being heels, and y'all gonna flip it now. They just show you that WWE they like to mess up a good thing when they have an opportunity to.
It's true.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. Who knows? Like, maybe they just did it as a kumbaya thing, but they'll still stay heels. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. Somebody I saw said they're probably gonna be tweeners, and I can live with that. But I like hard Usos, so Next match we had was Orton versus Rusev.
Next.
Yeah, I don't even get it. I didn't even get that match.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like Rusev right now, and I don't like Randy Orton right now.
You don't really Rusev?
No, not really. He's kind of boring.
See, I like Rusev, but I just don't like what they're doing with him, because they're not doing anything with him, and they wasted a lot. And they wasted a lot of potential. I'm sorry. Let me take that back. they dropped the ball. And when I say they, I'm talking about the Bookers. The Bookers dropped the ball in terms of booking him the right way. Because they had a great opportunity when he was undefeated and he won the U.S. title, and going into Mania when he faced Cena with all that momentum, he had a ton of momentum of eventually being that top heel who could rival Brock Lesnar as being like the biggest heel of the company. But then they had moves to Cena. He dropped the belt at Mania, even having that over the top entrance, and ever since then it was all downhill. They had him, they had him and Lana's marriage and be public. They had him turn soft. They had him become handsome Rusev. Like they dropped the ball completely on him. He was the best when he was undefeated, and now it's like they're trying to do damage control with him. It's not happening because you can even tell he's not happy. He's not happy in his position. And that showed a lot in that match, especially.
Right. Well, he's like a big dude. Like, you don't want to, like, you can look at like Braun Strowman, who like gets booked as like this monster that no one can destroy, and so you got Rusev, who's huge. He's one of the biggest guys on SmackDown. So like, why is he not main eventing? Like, you've got Jinder Mahal.
Oh man, yeah. Man, and no shade towards Jinder, but man, you want to talk about somebody dropping the ball? Good lord. The next match was a triple threat for the IC. I'm sorry, the US title. Corbin he beat AJ Styles and Ty Dillinger. I couldn't get my words out. To win the US belt. I know you weren't feeling the match. I thought it was a good match. I like the way how it was positioned. It felt like a very traditional triple threat match. It didn't feel formulaic like how WWE likes to do sometimes. It was a little bit obvious that Dillinger was thrown into the match so this way he can be pinned. AJ
right.
Can, you know what I'm saying? So AJ can look strong and Corbin can walk out with the belt. But now it's a matter of what Corbin does with that belt now. It's like, okay, now you didn't win the title, cashing the Money in the Bank. You're now a champion. Oh, what can you do now? What can you do for us? I want to see what happens.
Yeah. The only takeaway I got from that match was finally AJ Styles gets back into the main event picture.
Good point.
That's it, right?
That's a good point.
That's literally it, because so you still have Nakamura in the picture and you still have Jinder Mahal as a champion, right? So eventually, somewhere along the line, someone is gonna have to beat Jinder Mahal, and it's gonna be AJ Styles, I think. AJ Styles is gonna beat Jinder Mahal, and then Nakamura and AJ Styles are gonna fight at WrestleMania.
Oh, okay. So according to what you're saying, because they have to do the India tour this winter, and obviously Jinder's going to be the champion during the India tour. So what are you thinking? AJ's going to win the belt at Royal Rumble?
Yep, sure. And then have Nakamura win the Rumble. Done.
Oh, okay. And you know, and why that's actually kind of like a good look. AJ can play on the fact that a year ago I dropped the belt. Because didn't he drop the belt to Cena at Royal Rumble this year?
Yes, I was there. It was the worst thing ever.
Yeah, you were there, right. Right.
I was so angry.
Right, exactly. So that's the narrative that he can go off of is I dropped it a year ago. I'm here to get it back. And then that will be the place where we can get it back at. I can deal with that.
That'd be crazy. That'd be so awesome.
Yeah, that would be smooth. And then, like you said, Nakamura and AJ at Mania, man, please. That'll be insane.
Yep.
The next match was for the SmackDown Women's title. That was Charlotte challenging Natty Neidhart for the title. This match was trash. This match was trash, bro. And the thing is, my issue with this match is I'm like, what's wrong with Charlotte? Because something is not right. And I've been saying this. I'm going to be honest with you. I've been saying this since the beginning of the year. I'm going to tell you, back in December, I was looking for a gift for my niece. And she likes Charlotte. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get her a Charlotte shirt. So I go on .com. This lady has no merchandise. She has nothing. She has like bookmarks as a merchandise, bookmarks and like a coaster. That's her only merchandise. I'm like, no shirts, no flair, nothing like that, nothing cool. I had to go to like a third party vendor to get a shirt for of Charlotte, and I'm just like, why is it this? And bro, this is December we're talking about. So this is around the time when she was being down Charlotte, Sasha Banks win back the belt, and I'm like, where's the Charlotte merchandise? And then it seems like ever since she went to SmackDown, she's been a non-factor. Now, I'm excusing all what happened with her father because I know she had to take time off to be with Flair and everything like that. I get that. That's cool. Be with your pops. And I understand like, your mind might not be into this. But before Flair got sick, she was a non-factor. And even like right now, as she's back, and I understand we're on like kind of like the opposite end of Flair's illness. So she probably is still kind of like, her mindset may not all the way be there. But still, she seems super disconnected from everything. And combine that with Natty. I'm sorry, I don't buy Natty as a great champion. I like Natty as a person more than I like her as a wrestler, and that says a lot. That's kind of wild. And I feel that her as a heel, especially, isn't believable. I'd much rather see.
She's a terrible heel.
Yeah. Cause we know Natty as being like, all lovable, huggable, cutable, no nice. And,
she's a crazy cat lady. She can't be a heel.
Right. Crazy cat lady. Crazy nice cat lady. That's what we know her as. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like she's because when she does heel things, she has like this huge smile on her face.
Right.
I can't deal with that. Right. I look at and not to be biased or anything because I love Alexa Bliss, but I look at her and like she's 100% heel.
Oh.
Like she has this. She has that face that she makes and all that stuff, and she looks angry.
Right.
You can tell that she's a bad guy. But then, like, you have, like, with Natty, she forces it too much. There's just too much. She's not mean enough to play a heel.
Exactly.
And even like on Total Divas, like, even when she's trying to be mean or upset, it's so terrible.
Yeah. It doesn't add up, bro. It's not believable at all. And, like...
No.
And that's the thing is that, like, like you brought up Alexa Bliss. When Bliss comes out, she gets heat right away. Everyone, boo, boo, get out of here, boo. People are tight when she come out. When Natty come out, you're like, oh, okay, there go Natty. All right, what's up? That's it. That's the only reaction you get from her. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. It's like, that match had no chemistry. There was nothing there that made me want to invest my time into that match. So it's like, why even bother? You know what I mean? So
more importantly though, I think is the SmackDown women's roster is pretty bad.
Yeah.
You got Charlotte, who's really good in the ring, but you got to give her someone that she can work with, right? Like Sasha Banks together. Bailey, they had good matches together, and then it's hard because like she's never really had a thing with Becky Lynch, and they're like for real best friends, and it's like so maybe their chemistry will work really well, but then you'd have to have one of them turn heel, right?
Right.
But then you look at like the heel side of the SmackDown women's roster, and you've got like Natty, terrible heel. You've got Lana, who's not the greatest wrestler, and she's okay, but but that's really. I mean, she has like slight personality as a heel, but that's about it. You've got Tamina, who doesn't do anything. Like she just walks around and like tries to be intimidating by not saying anything. And she's like a more intimidating looking person.
Yeah.
But like her in-ring ability is not that great. Her mic skills are terrible.
Right.
Carmella, who is also extremely terrible.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And then you flip side it and you look at the faces, right? So you got Charlotte, decent in the ring. Becky Lynch, decent in the ring. And I hate to say it because I don't like her, but Naomi's
great, bro. Quit being a hater. I'll smack you.
But the thing is you have all these semi-decent people and then all these really terrible people, and it makes for a terrible division.
No, you're right. Yeah. They need to do something different. I think it will be interesting to put see what it will be like to put Becky Lynch as a heel. I want to see that.
You know what they messed up on? No, you know what they messed up on? They messed up on? They put Asuka on Raw.
Agreed. Yeah. Because I really thought she was going to be on SmackDown. I totally agree with that.
They should have put her on SmackDown. Her and Charlotte would have had great matches.
Yeah.
Her and Becky Lynch, great matches.
Right. Yeah, no,
they messed up on that.
And I really thought that she was going to, I was really banking on the fact that she was going to be going to SmackDown because Raw doesn't really need her. Raw's women's division is stacked already, so they're good. But they didn't make that switch up, though. But I guess they need to have somebody, take the belt away from Bliss. So.
Yep.
But we'll see what happens. The next match was for the WWE title. Now it was Jinder Mahal against Shinsuke Nakamura.
Boring match.
Super standard, man. Super standard match. And that's the thing is that I'm off. I like both of these two. I like both of them a lot. But what they put together on Sunday was just not there, man. I think the build up. The bookers were not confident in the build up of the match, and that's why they had to throw in all the controversial segments that we saw with them. But even the payoff, man, wasn't even worth all that, bro. For real, this, they just need to dead this. They need to dead this feud, and I really think they are.
For sure.
Yeah. Next was Rude and Ziggler. Rude beat Ziggler. The best part of the match was Ziggler's entrance. No music, no pyro, no video. I liked it. It was super simple. Less is more.
I don't know what they're gonna do with him.
I mean, yeah, I know it was pure gimmick, but I thought that was kind of cool, a little bit of a throwback. And the closer, the main event of the match was the Hell in a Cell match with Kevin Owens going against Shane McMahon. Kevin Owens won. Crazy, insane ending. Because at first I was like, Falls Count Anywhere in the Hell in a Cell? What? I was confused. I was thinking to myself, you have 3 feet to work with outside of the ring? Or maybe not 3 feet, probably 5, 6 feet or whatever. But I'm like, so what? So you pin your opponent outside the ring. Oh, I saw the reason why. We saw the reason why it was a Falls Count Anywhere, with that ending.
Well, of course. You got Shane McMahon in a Hell in a Cell match. He's climbing up that thing and he's jumping off it. How many times has he been in a Hell in a Cell and he didn't do that? That's just his thing. That match exceeded all my expectations. It was great. The storytelling in it was great. Kevin Owens being scared to jump off it.
Yeah, it was
all that stuff. So entertaining. Storytelling, amazing.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn coming in from the save, complete out of left field. Had no idea that was going to happen.
Yeah. No, that was cool. Yeah, I didn't realize that either. I thought that he just moved, went for the elbow. So the replay they showed Sami pull him away. I'm like, whoa! Now here's my thing though. Is Sami gonna be? Can Sami be a believable heel now? Because I know you didn't watch SmackDown, but Sami came out to talk about, pretty much, talk about happy to be rekindling his friendship with Kevin Owens, and they've been longtime friends, and all that stuff and everything. But he still seemed like happy-go-lucky Sami, and I'm just like, okay, well, when are we gonna see you being a heel? I mean, I get you.
I think it'll take him some time, but if they decide to do that, I would assume that they would probably put Sami and KO together, and as a tag team.
Right.
If you're really gonna make the Usos faces, then you have 2 really good heels against them.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
Because inside of that, you can still have other stories, right? So let's say Usos do turn face, saying Kevin Owens as a tag team. Let's say they just run through the division, right? Because it's pretty weak, to be honest.
Right.
And then they get their title shot. Let's say they win the titles. Inside of that, you could do so much. You could have them, go against each other somewhere. Someone turns on someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, really break some shop. Yeah.
Right, and that could be a way to even boost Sami Zayn as a heel, because now He's got Kevin Owens by his side. He's got a mouthpiece, and then like just flip the script, and maybe he turns his back on Kevin Owens, and everyone's like, "Yo, like you're not supposed to do that."
Right, yeah. You see that? That would be smart though, like pairing them up against a very face tag team like New Day, and having Sammy just go nuts on them in one match, and show that real internal aggressive side that he has in him that that we probably have not we're not accustomed to. So that'll be a good way of making sure that they really do stay heel though. So that could work. We'll see what all plays out with that and everything, and then who knows? We might see them actually clash in Mania. But speaking of Mania, there's somebody out there that's lobbying for a match at Mania, right? That's not in the WWE.
Who?
I believe in my heart of hearts, and I don't know if this is a work or a shoot, but I believe in my heart of hearts that Tyrese is trying to get The Rock in the middle of the ring at WrestleMania, bro.
Oh my God, that happens sometimes.
I'm serious, man. Like, have you been following this whole thing, though?
You know what? I haven't, because I looked it up a little bit just so I could kind of talk about it on the show.
Yeah, man. It is straight messy drama, bro. This is hilarious.
But from what I read, it was just Tyrese trying to call out The Rock for The Rock making some video a couple years ago about how terrible Tyrese's new album was, or something like that.
But they say that was done recently. That was done today. That little video he put up talking about Black Rose.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait,
the only person I even know that liked that album was you.
Yeah, that album fire. The album was fire.
Yeah, no, I listened to that whole album because you told me to.
Yeah. Nah, man.
And it was the worst decision I've ever made.
Nah, man, please. Man, you tweaking. That album is fire, bro. First of all, you listen to it by yourself. You gotta listen to it with a woman. All right?
Oh,
so that's where you went wrong at first. All right?
Right.
Because I'm serious, that's how you get the engine going with that album. I'm telling you, brother, it works.
I'm sure, yeah. And you sat there and listened to it with Trey and Osa.
I wish I did. Don't even trip. I'll go up inside your head, bro. But for real. but real talk though, they really have been going back and forth on some real petty mess. Tyrese, he beefing about the whole thing with the Fast and Furious movies, and one of Fast and Furious 26 to come out next year, but The Rock gotta do Hobbs first. You know what I mean? So it's all this back and forth that's going on with them, and I'm like, this dude, he really is lobbying for a match. He want that WrestleMania payday. That's gotta be the case, bro. For real.
No,
that's gotta be the case.
He's literally probably just trying to stir the pot so that he could be relevant still.
Tyrese is very relevant.
For real though, think of the Chris Brown Soulja Boy thing.
Oh, that was ridiculous.
It was so ridiculous. But the thing was, everyone was talking about it. When did you hear about Chris Brown between that time frame? When did you hear about Soulja Boy between that time frame?
Right.
You didn't. But then they came out with all this, we're gonna box and this and that, and Mayweather's behind us and blah blah blah. Nothing ever happened out of it. And it was just, they got people talking for a couple months. They probably got some money out of it, and then that's end of story. I think it's the same thing. But the thing is The Rock's not buying into it because he doesn't need it.
Very true. The Rock doesn't need the payday. Tyrese definitely does, and that's why he is that's why he is mad about this whole thing not popping off. With the movies, why it had to be pushed back. And I was telling a friend of mine, Daniel, in the group, I'm like, well, if you think about it, just playing devil's advocate with this whole thing, Tyrese may be, he may be heated about this because it affects a lot of people's payday. A lot of people are probably depending on that check to come through for next year when that movie was supposed to debut. But now the studio is now concentrating on Hobbs. But here's my take though. I think that both films have already been filmed simultaneously, or they're going to be filmed simultaneously. And I think this is just some genius marketing that's being done right now. Having an internal feud of cast members where basically not even cast members are feuding. It's movie against movie that is feuding. Because that's, I mean, like, if you do it that way, everybody wins. And what isn't Universal, aren't they the distributors of this film? I could be wrong, but they're the ones who are going to be seeing the biggest payday from this because they're the ones who really are going to be benefiting from this drama. So because you have seen cast members feud before, but you've never seen a film feud against a film before, a project versus project. So that's something that's really interesting right there. This could be a whole work that's being done by the studio, but overall though, like what we're getting is pure entertaining drama.
Yeah, let's just go with that, and I won't even pay attention to it. You can just keep me up to it.
For sure. And speaking of relevancy, I have not heard the name Nelly so much in my life. Nelly's name has been in the news so much this week. It's like it's 2001 all over again. So you heard about what happened, right? When he was at some he's on tour with some country group. He's on
tour with Florida Georgia Line, which is weird.
Why is he touring with a country band?
I don't know. He has one country song with Tim McGraw, But I don't know. I don't understand where he falls into that.
Right.
Whatever. The thing is that thing that happened with him went down in Washington.
Oh, that happened by you, right?
It was here. It was here in Washington, and they said it happened at the Walmart. Okay, the Walmart parking lot in Ridgefield, which is down south near Portland. That's where I saw Future last, was in Ridgefield. There's nothing out there. My thing is I'm not condoning it or anything like that, but the thing is if you're on a tour bus at 4 o'clock in the morning, something's gonna happen.
Truth.
Right? First of all, what are you doing at 4 o'clock in the morning on a tour bus?
Right.
And you're just some regular person, not a friend or this or that or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then at the same time, it's did he really do this? Did he not do it? Did he forget a Band-Aid? I don't know.
Right. And see, that's my whole thing. Is I can't.
His headband didn't fit right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't. The details are super, super loose and super small. That I can't really say oh yeah, he guilty. I can't really jump on that because it seems too much there's not enough out there that really does pigeonhole him into that. And hey, I'm just going off what other people say. Whenever an incident happens, if if a young black male gets killed or whatever by the cops, people always say, well, I gotta have the whole details before I make an opinion. Well, that's how I'm kind of feeling about this. I need to have the whole details first. And from what I understand, old girl, the accuser, linking up with that lawyer who's been linking up with all those ladies who've been trying to put rappers on blast. You know what I mean? The same lawyer who's defending Black China, the same lawyer that's defending that wildebeest who Usher gave an STD to, the same lawyer who something else happened as well too recently after that. But this lady is going around and representing all these quote unquote victims of these high profile Black entertainers, and so. And she's doing the same thing for this one too. So I'm just is this just and trust me, I'm not trying to dilute the issue because rape is a very serious subject. But if you're seeing a pattern though, you can't help but notice, you can't help but call it out. And so that's what I'm saying. There's not enough information out there. There's not really enough, evidence or anything like that. So I have to wonder, what's really happening. So before I say anything about it, I'm just gonna chill. I'm gonna see how it rides out, and I'm gonna see what happens.
Sure, and then you can pay attention to it and talk to me about it because I don't care so much about it.
but real talk though. But rape is never anything to take too lightly. I hope for his sake that it's not the case at all. There's maybe someone trying to make a come up, but if he is on the guilty side of things, then brother, you need help. You know what I mean? So. Let's see how that all plays out and everything. Speaking of help, I think your president is gonna need some help, bro. because he was destroyed last night.
My president, get out of here with that noise.
I know.
The fact that I even know what his name is kind of a big deal.
Agent Cheeto, Agent Cheeto 45. But did you see the Eminem freestyle?
So I saw part of it. Again, I didn't care so much to listen to the whole thing, I guess.
Oh, it was cold, bro. It was cold. It was,
I saw part of it.
Right.
I watched like the video, but then I got bored. I'll be honest.
You got bored. Oh my God, bro. Dismiss yourself. it wasn't really too much like a freestyle. It was more of like, it was kind of like spoken word style. So it had no beat.
Right.
Yeah, it didn't have a beat, which I appreciated. But I mean, it was just like, it was a systematic dismantling of Donald Trump. I was completely here for it. I was 100% here for it. Here for it all. And yeah, absolutely. And that was a thing too, that some of the things that he touched on in the freestyle was saying that you're trying to distract us, taking the focus away from, the people, what's going on in Puerto Rico, what happened in Houston, and what happened in Florida, and put the attention on the NFL. And that's true. Like it seemed like right, when everything was happening in Puerto Rico, and we're like, hey, when are you gonna do something about it? Are you gonna go down there? Are you gonna help him out? And he was finding every excuse in the book not to do anything for them. Then, he wanted to pick a fight with the NFL, and that became just the news headline all over. And in addition, he pretty much, that one Sunday when everyone was kneeling, that kind of like, to me, that really did water down the entire purpose of what Colin Kaepernick was doing in the first place. In terms of bringing awareness to police brutality, to racial injustice in this country, where they wanted to make it about the flag. It never was even about that in the first place. So Donald Trump, the master of disguise, the master of lying, the master of distraction, had to really pivot us and pivot our attention in the wrong direction. So this way we wouldn't be able to be calling him out on what he was not doing for Puerto Rico and the other locations, especially Puerto Rico, because he was finding every excuse in the book not to help those people down there. And that's ridiculous. And I'm glad Eminem touched on that. I'm glad he bashed him. I'm glad he was able to go in. I'm really glad that he was able to really put his foot up his butt as far as possible. And he did. But no, real talk though, I recommend that you go check it out though, when you can. It's for the sake of hip hop, it's really good, man. Is
it gonna be like the Tyrese album that you told me to listen to?
What's up?
Is it gonna be like the Tyrese album that you?
Bro, seriously, remind me to smack you when I see you next time, bro. Bro, you got about 54 of those coming your way. I'm keeping tally. I'm keeping track, bro. Hey, before we close out, because I know we gotta be wrapping up very shortly. First off, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in live on Facebook Live, or tuning in live on intellectualradio.com, and check out the show and check out the inaugural episode of MDX Radio. Just give you an idea of who I am. My name is Maurice Proffit. I'm a resident here in Chicago, Illinois. I'm also I'm an independent film and theater director. I've worked with a variety of different actors and actresses across the city. I have projects galore going on all over the place right now. I have a web series that I just wrapped up and I'm in post-production with. It's called Broke AF, and that will be premiering April 28th, 2018. In addition, right now, I am in pre-production of a play that I have coming up that's going to be happening on February the 24th in 2018. It's called The Last Night as King. It's about the last 24 hours of the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Next week, I'm holding auditions next Thursday in Schaumburg and next Saturday in Chicago on the north side in Humboldt Park. So if you are interested, if you are an actor, if you're not even an actor, you want to be a part of this production, come out for auditions. Hit me up if you're interested. My email is mproffit@gmail.com. That's mproffit5@gmail.com. Hit me up on Facebook. Find me on Instagram, mrproffit. I'm on there. I'm all over the place. Just you'll find me all over the place and everything. If you're interested in being a part of that production, I would like to have some see some new faces and even some old faces come out and everything. So all welcome. I'm looking for all ranges of talents, all racial groups, all ethnic groups, all religious groups, anybody come out for this and everything. So come check it out. In my projects, I've been directing and writing and producing for about good like 8 years so far, and I have about 15 projects under my belt right now. So I'm pretty heavy into this, and I love the death. And so you'll be hearing more about that in the upcoming weeks. So like I said earlier, we're going to be doing MDX Radio every second and fourth Wednesday night on intellectualradio.com. Also check out our podcast, which is MDX Podcast. It's going to be MDX Uncut, so we're also on Podle Mag. So check us out on there as well too. Check us out on Facebook and on Instagram and on Twitter. Just put MDX Podcast, so we're all over the place and everything. Find Dannie Dang as well too, Dannie Dang, and he'll be able to and he'll hit you back and everything. But we have a
will hit you back.
True that. Well, before we close out, I just want to thank everyone once again for tuning in. We greatly appreciate you guys and everything. We love y'all. Thank you again, Earl, as well too, and thank you, Wanda B, for everything. And we out, and we'll see y'all next time.
Hey, few black young men out here like me trying to make a name for themselves. If you're trying to make a name for yourself, this song's for you. If you're trying to make a name for yourself, they say nothing good can come from Chicago. Stereotypes got men, they gotta go.